Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community.
Poetry will be the topic on Read About It tonight. Hi, I'm B.J. Williams. Ivy Dempsey will be telling us about her book, The Scent of Water. We'll have Susie Beasley. Kids Corner will feature Rosemary Zarsky. We also have Doug Benton, Clyde Martin, and Mary Frades. Coming up, Ivy Dempsey.
The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It, with your host, B.J. Williams.
Every year I visit the Oklahoma Book Awards banquet, which is put on by the Oklahoma Center for the Book, and I'm able to talk with a number of the finalists and winners there. This last year, one of the people I talked with is Ivy Dempsey. She is a poet from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she won the Oklahoma Book Award for Poetry. I think you'll enjoy what she had to say about The Scent of Water. Ivy, in The Scent of Water, which is a collection of poems, I guess the question is, what inspired you, or what was the link that got you to put all of these particular poems together in a book?
I think it was a sense of a kind of a narrative underlying my life experience. I've been publishing poems for quite some years, but I was approached to make a collection, and in doing so, it seemed a natural thing to organize the poems according to my life chronology, and also because I have lived in different places over these years, and because my poems often are responses to landscape and the kinds of trees or vegetation or landforms, they seem to organize themselves according to these different locations, and because I think everyone's life finally is a narrative, a story. It seemed to me that the poems were telling a story, and they sort of forced themselves in my thinking into this pattern. The pattern is not a linear, unbroken report of a consistent changing experience. I mean, we all hope to grow and change, right, as we live through years. So the pattern is one of a pretty chaotic sort of stumbling about from time to time, but I've grown to believe that this is essential for learning, actually.
Well, I think that's how most of us live our lives.
That's been my impression, yeah.
One of the things I particularly appreciate has been the, as you said, the sense of place, the specificity of, and I ruined that word, but the feeling of it's this particular part of New Mexico, or this particular part of Oklahoma, it's this particular tree, these particular clouds that I really appreciated.
Yes, well, it seems to me, one doesn't know finally what is the source of the energy in the things or the people or the circumstances that one responds to. I can tell you that it is the truth that at one point in my life I thought I would be a geography major. So I apparently have a strong response to landforms and to the character of the landscape, and I would say more the flora than the fauna, perhaps.
Well, I felt that very strongly. I could feel I guess my favorite place is New Mexico, so I could certainly feel New Mexico.
If you're familiar with those landscapes, then you know the kind of net they cast over your responses. New Mexico has been so famous amongst artists of various kinds for so long that you have to be strong to hold your own inner light against the work of the outer light. And then there's that thing about the passion the desert exerts over people, the sense that you can come to the end of your resources. You can come to the end of the scent of water in the desert.
Well, it's a very harsh landscape.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned particularly one poem, Glance, that you felt was sort of central to this whole book in a way.
Well, I focused on that poem because I was thinking about what you might want to learn about how I felt about my own work. This gave me an opportunity to consider what I've written from, say, another perspective. It's an odd sort of experience, but it was good for me to consider this. And I think it is fair to say that my work and interest and focus corresponds to what Silvano Arrietty, a noted and respected psychiatrist and theorist, has said about aesthetic creativity as being a kind of response to the desire or longing or search for a new object or experience or state of existence that is not easily attained. And I think this applies to what I've done, and as I see it, it is what drives artists in general. And the reason I chose this poem, Glance, is that it entirely and completely focuses on the sense that there is another life that is better. It starts out, a moment, I can't see it, but I name it. My life is passing. And I think that's the truth about how not only I feel, but many people feel. And one of the most relevant and pertinent criteria I used in choosing these poems was to consider why anyone would want to spend any part of their life term reading what I had written. So that's kind of the screen I passed over, and I can't say whether it's, worked all the time.
But I think, in a way to answer your question, I think anyone would enjoy reading this for, as you said, the sense of place, the sense of struggle, the sense of life changing and moving on. And I have to say, this every time the subject of poetry comes up, I just rush in and say, you've got to read it out loud. You can't just look at it on the page. And to me, that's part of the joy. You can look at it on the page, but read it out loud.
Yeah, you have to have I think every poet would say that you're foolish to attempt to write poems minimally. If you do not have a sense of music. And my mother was a musician, and I myself have worked as a amateur musician in singing. And it's absolutely essential to listen to the rhythm and the words. And I think that, like everything else, the more you focus on it, the more sensitive you become to it. And the more those little words just ring, they just ring.
Well, they echo, and they keep on echoing, and what's always, and we don't have time really to get into this, but I love the way so much can be gotten into so few words in poetry.
Yeah, and I hope there's time for me to say, I feel that what happens in poems is that the words, as compared with prose, and many prose stylists are extremely aware of the rhythm, harmony in their writing. I mean, that's beautiful prose writing. But what happens in poetry is there's not only a linear development of a thought or a concept, but there is a vertical one where all the words resound and harmonize with each other. So you get many, many more oral dimensions.
I agree with you, and I want to thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
You can find The Scent of Water at your library and your favorite bookstore. Coming up next is Susie Beasley. Usually she's interviewing somebody, but this time I caught her and asked her what she had been reading and enjoying. I think you'll enjoy it. Susie, what did you bring us tonight?
Shadow Valley Rising by Stephen Overhoser. And this is a Western, and it is really good. It's a story that starts out, they are, because of a flood in town, they are taking down this old church. It's very dilapidated. And church is basically, they tear it down, but the cornerstone is intact, and they open it up and they find these diaries. And these diaries belong to Ella Mae Campbell, and it tells about her when she went to from Missouri to Colorado with her father, who was a minister and a missionary. And on the way there, she's captive. She's taken captive by some Native Americans, hostile in the area at the time, because this is in the 1860s. And this story relates how she copes as being a captive, and then she gets away. But the people that are supposed to have come to rescue her, they have no empathy for her. They kind of shun her because of the fact that they think that she really wanted to stay with the Indians. She didn't want to come back among her people, so she has to.
It's one of those, you're alive, you must have done something bad.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You brought this on yourself type thing. You was wearing the wrong kind of dress or whatever. But in any case, she gets through that, trying to go through the town and survive and try to make a little bit of money or whatever. Then she is taken captive again, and this is by a group of secessionists, people that want to break away from the United States. And so the first few chapters, you kind of like, okay, I want to find out who this Ella Mae Campbell is and what molded her to be a survivalist. And it kind of is, the foundation is her father, because of the fact that he was a minister and she was a very, very strong person, despite the fact that she's a woman living in the 1800s and going across many states to get to another place. But the Western genre, I guess it's best depicted by this writer, Stephen Overhoser, because he has all of the elements there, all the techniques there, how gritty it was and how hard it was. The life was hard, but the people persevered. And they paved the way for us as far as the westward expansion. But for people who love Westerns, they love storytelling about the Western frontier in the West, they will enjoy this, even though the female character is the lead character. There are some fairly strong male characters, too.
And of course, anybody who's interested in stories about strong women is going to like it, too.
Correct. And that's always a good thing. But Ella Mae Campbell, she comes through, and we probably see a little bit of Ella Mae Campbell in All Women. And Shadow Valley Rising by Overhoser kind of brings it out.
Thanks, Susie. And you can find this book at your library and your favorite bookstore.
We are more than 300 strong. We are diverse from all walks of life. We are musicians. We are teachers. We are computer experts and business leaders, each with the same goal: to meet the information needs of the people of Oklahoma County. We are the librarians of the Metropolitan Library System. How can we help you?
I'm going to be talking to Doug Benton for a few minutes today, telling him about something that hopefully he already knows about, which is some of the books in the library.
Yeah,
right,
well,
Doug?
I've seen some of them. Looks like you have my favorite kind of book, which is one that's got lots of pictures in it.
Yeah, the ones that are real easy to read.
Oh, yeah, it does. I should be reviewing those.
Right. Well, what I wanted to emphasize today was that the library does have a lot of these books. Many of them are incredibly expensive to purchase.
Picture books, photographs.
Photographs or art reproductions or that sort of thing can be $70, $80, $100. But your library's got them, so you can check them out and enjoy them without busting the budget.
Yeah.
And even some, they're not all that expensive. I'm sure if not everybody's seen Star Wars, at least you can check out the book and sort of get the same experience. Or if you really wanted to know what is going on, this is a book that's got little bits of information and lots of pictures of the different intelligent beings that make up the universe and their costumes and all that sort of thing. So all that information is in here, and you can look and find out stuff like what the Outlander nightclub looked like. And I thought you would enjoy that one, Doug. It's got pretty pretty girls or something resembling pretty girls in it.
Now, this is a book that the emphasis is on.
It's on the most recent
film.
The last two. It's got Liam Neeson in here, but it talks about Yoda and the training that the Jedi go through, and a little bit about how the Senate is made up. But again, it's mostly pictures, so you can sort of repeat your experience. But the book I found most moving and most interesting is Charles Moore's civil rights photography. Now, the most interesting thing to people who lived through that time is that this is a book published by the University of Alabama Press. But he went to the beginning of the civil rights movement in 1961 when Meredith was trying to get into the university, and the march in Mississippi and so on. And this is a collection of the photographs. A lot of these appeared in Life at the time. For people who weren't alive at the time, it really was dangerous. People were murdered,
right? Yeah.
And often by legitimate law enforcement people. There are some really horrible photographs in here, but also ones that strengthen the spirit as well. And so check out picture books at the library.
Okay.
And coming up next, we have Kids Corner. Kelly Rhea will be talking with Rosemary Zarsky from the Choctaw Library about a book for our young adults.
Hello. We have a good book today. It's called The Thieves of Asta. And Rosemary Zarsky from the Choctaw Library has read it. She likes it. Rosemary, can you tell us about it?
Sure. It's a great mystery, first of all.
Oh, a mystery.
You know, sort of like the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys, in that the children do it all. And Flavia is a sea captain's daughter in ancient Rome, and she meets her next door neighbors because Jonathan, the son, saves her from a pack of feral dogs.
Oh.
These are dogs that have had owners, but the owners have left them, and now they're just roving.
So she's threatened by these dogs and connects with this person who saves her.
Right, and he takes her home, and she meets his sister and his father, and then through the course of the story, they're trying to figure out, somehow a dog is decapitated, and they're trying to figure out how and who, and they think it is a sailor whose daughter died of rabies. But eventually they realize it's not him. And so they're still trying to figure it out, trying to understand. Because first Jonathan's dog is killed, and then one of those feral dogs, and they're afraid the next dog might be Flavia's. And so it's a mystery, a race against time. Can they find out who is doing it before
it happens again?
Before it happens again. But 3 dogs have died, and it's actually a child that they adopt named Lupus, which is Wolf, who helps solve the mystery. But of course, Flavia is the one who's got the smarts to put all the pieces together and figure out the trap.
So if kids like the idea of traveling the world and seeing what other countries and cultures are like, they might really enjoy this book because it transports them back into this time.
I lived in Rome briefly, and I could picture in my eyes what they were talking about. So it gives a very nice description of the area.
And then there's other references to actual geographical things.
They talk about the travels that were prevalent then, and they talk about the graveyard, and you're not supposed to have a door on the wall of the, but of course everybody does. And then they talk about other things, and it's basically just a Roman setting that is very, very real.
Oh, it sounds so exciting, Rosemary. You have got to read The Thieves of Asta. Find it at your local bookstore or at your favorite library.
Thanks, Kelly and Rosemary. It's time now for the New York Times bestseller list. We'll start out with hardback fiction. Number 10 is Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk, The Crimson Petal and the White by Michael Faber, Shrink Wrap by Robert Parker, Dune, The Butlerian Jihad by Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson, Killjoy by Julie Garwood, Red Rabbit by Tom Clancy, Blessings by Anna Quindlen, Nights in Rodanthe by Nicholas Sparks. Number 2 is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, and number 1 is Stephen King's From a Buick 8. On the nonfiction list, number 10 is The Bitch in the House, edited by Kathy Hanauer, What We Saw by CBS News, Ann Coulter's Slander, A Mind at a Time by Mel Levine, Sandy Koufax by Jane Levy, Nothing is Impossible by Christopher Reeve, Abraham by Bruce Feiler, Longitudes and Attitudes by Thomas Friedman, Let Freedom Ring by Sean Hannity is number 2, and Let's Roll by Lisa Beamer with Ken Abraham is number 1. On the children's list, number 10 is The Miserable Mill by Lemony Snicket, Artemis Fowl, The Arctic Incident by Ian Colfer, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, Junie B., First Grader, Boss of Lunch by Barbara Park, The Reptile Room by Lemony Snicket, Meg Cabot's All-American Girl, The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket, The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funk. Number 2 is Hoot by Carl Hyacin, and number 1 is Summerland by Michael Chabon. Coming up next, we have Doug Benton from the Metropolitan Library System and the Oklahoma Gazette. He'll be talking with Clyde Martin, that renowned radio opera host and actor, about a book Clyde really enjoyed.
Hello again, everybody. I'm here once more with Clyde Martin, who is going to be featured in the Ray Cooney farce It Runs in the Family.
That's right.
At Carpenter Square, opening in November. Is that right?
November 29th through December 21st.
Well, congratulations. That should be fun.
Thank you.
But what is the book you brought with us? It's something on movies,
isn't it? Happy Together.
Oh,
it's
that's
about
sweet.
movie couples who weren't necessarily always happy together. As you see on the cover is Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca.
Must be.
Now, this book is supposed to be of great teams. Now, as much as I love Ingrid Bergman, Bogart and Bergman were not necessarily a team. That's the only film they made together.
Bogart and Bacall.
Of course, Bogart and Bacall were the team as far as he was concerned. And if you're going to pair Bergman, Cary Grant. I mean, they made more than one film together, and she and Gary Cooper made more than one film together as far as that's concerned. But that's not the only thing. There are some very good choices in this book. One of my favorites, of course, is, well, In Some Like It Hot. Do you have any idea who the couple might be in that?
Well, I would think it would be Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis.
No.
Billy Wilder and Jack Lemmon.
No? Jack Lemmon and Joey Brown.
Oh, all right. We're stretching. We're stretching here.
And of course, there are others: Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison in Fair Lady, and Grant and Hepburn in Philadelphia Story. Although they made other films together,
they
too.
were Holiday and some others.
There are several couples not in this book, and you and I have talked about this. And there are 46 couples.
46
instead of 50.
And 50. That's
now
odd.
to even out 50. I think you and I should add the other 4.
Okay.
All right. What's your two?
Well, I would say William Powell and Myrna Loy must be in there for the Thin Man series.
Yes.
And Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Okay.
They made a lot of pictures together.
Fine. Well, my 2 are Mickey and Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland.
Okay. Well, that's a good pair.
Yes, of course it
Certainly
is. They made a half a dozen films together, and it really at the very height of their youth and energy and all of that.
Right.
And my other 2 are Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy.
No, I cannot believe that they wouldn't have included.
I can't either. And Jeanette is in there with Maurice Chevalier.
No,
I don't think so either.
No. Was this book edited by people who don't go to the movies very often?
I think it's edited by people who under 30. Because there are some people it's chronological, beginning with Pickford and Fairbanks in Taming of the Shrew in 1929, and on up through Titanic.
Now, you see, again, Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. No, they shouldn't be.
No.
I mean, that film hasn't stood the test of time
it has
yet.
not.
It stood in the box office for a long
That's
time. But
the reason I think it was edited by younger.
Yeah, well, it must have been. The title of the book, again, is Happy Together.
Happy Together.
And it's subtitled Hollywood's Unforgettable Couples.
Yes.
Well, we may have forgotten a few of them by now. But anyway, thank you for bringing it in. I appreciate talking about it. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug and Clyde. Coming up after a brief break will be M.J. Van Deventer, Director of Publications for the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. She'll be talking with Mary Frates of the Oklahoma Arts Institute about one of Mary's favorite books.
If you spend 15 minutes a day reading to a child, you're doing more than reading. You're building a bond that lasts a lifetime. Hi, I'm Penny McCaleb, Chairman of your Metropolitan Library Commission, and I urge you to read to your children. Not only will they learn to love reading, they will also become better students. Our children's librarians will be happy to help you select just the right book. The next time your child hands you a book, take the time to read. You'll both be glad you did.
Mary, welcome.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I see that you're reading Bel Canto and that has earned the prestigious Penn Faulkner Award, so others have liked this book as well as you have. And tell us why we should like it.
Well, it's a very strange, compelling story. It's a marvel of a book. Actually, it's its own universe, which, unless a book can take me out of my own life and into a totally different place where I forget what I'm doing. This book I carried around, well, it only took me 2 days because I couldn't leave the party.
It was compelling.
Yes, it was absolutely wonderful. It's a very romantic novel. It's a fantasy, if you will, of guns and Puccini.
What a strange combination.
It is. It's very strange. It, in fact, involves the unbelievable promises and unreliable promises that we all have of art, of politics, and of love. And it's a great love story. Through the arts, it exposes people to their own humanity. And of course, there's the element of politics that drives the story forward. So it's a very interesting and fast-paced book.
Are the characters believable?
Totally believable. It's an international cast. If you'd like to know something about the story, I'll give you a teaser.
Give me a teaser.
Okay, because I'm just dying to do that. It begins at a birthday party in a South American country, and in my mind's eye, it's Peru. A Japanese businessman has been lured to this country by the president of the country, who hopes that he'll build a factory there. The president has no intention of building a factory there because it's not good business, but what he wants to do is to experience an evening of opera recital with a woman whose name is Roxanne Cross, who is the internationally known diva of the opera world, and his favorite. He's a great opera buff, and that's why he's come. And at the end of her concert, which is a gorgeous evening, a group of terrorists break into the vice president's house where the party's being held, looking for the president of the country, who's been called away on something else, so they don't find the hostage they're looking for. So they take the entire group hostage, dismiss the women guests except for the opera diva and all of the diplomats. And the story really is about what happens as a result of their being together and the transforming powers that art and love can bring, despite this terrible danger that is unrelenting and cannot be stopped. So I won't tell you any more about that. You'll just have to read the book.
I'll have to read the book myself. It sounds fascinating.
Oh, I hope you will do it.
And
it's
it sounds like it combines
it
something that you really love, the arts.
It does, I think, but it's the blend of all those things that I think is so interesting, because it does bring us into our contemporary dangerous world and tells us all that the only way we can really know each other and ourselves is through our self-expression and the arts. And it's
a beautiful,
yes, it's a beautiful concept and very, very well written and well done.
Bel Canto.
Bel Canto.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary and MJ. Don't forget, you can find out all about the Metropolitan Library System on its website at www.metrolibrary.org. It has all of the libraries, all of the programs that are available throughout the system are there. You can also check our catalog, put books on reserve, or recheck books that you've already checked out at your library. Visit us at www.metrolibrary.org. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next time.
local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community.